coach of the LSU Tigers, Brian Kelly, leak the NFL draft script? Because he had a very interesting quote at the LSU Pro Day earlier this week that made a lot of people believe that Jaden Daniels might already be a Washington Commander, which would lead Drake Maye, the North Carolina quarterback, to be that selection potentially for New England at pick number 3. We're going to break it all down on today's show. I am Nic Rohloff, but make sure you do subscribe to the channel. March is almost over. We got 3 days left, and we're trailing in our sub battle against the Broncos breakdown by 98. Let's not lose to the old hags in Denver. Remember those rivalries with Peyton Manning in the middle 2010s? Yeah, I don't like that, and I want to beat them on the YouTube streets, so let's hit that sub button. Will be your number one spot for news and rumors surrounding the New England Patriots. And as draft time approaches, less than a month away, you're going to want to be subscribed for all Patriots news and rumors. All right, let's dive into what the head coach of the LSU Tigers did actually say, because this was the quote when he was talking to reporters about Jaden Daniels, because they asked him about his size, his frame, and they asked him about a lot of things. He said he's going to get the ball out to his playmakers and make plays for Washington. And I'm not shitting you. You could go find the clip on Twitter. It's out there. The video is available for everyone. But are you serious? Has Brian Kelly been told something? Because why on earth would he say Washington? Now, maybe he can argue that it was an accidental slip, but to me, that doesn't feel like an accidental thing. Why would he accidentally say for Washington? Did Adam Peters, the new GM for the Commanders, tell Brian Kelly that they are going to draft Jaden Daniels? I think this is a real possibility. There was also a report earlier this week that they like J.J. McCarthy. So who knows what Washington's going to actually do, but it feels like the buzz around the Commanders taking Drake Maye has certainly died down. And you look at the 3 quarterbacks on screen right now. These 3 are the quarterbacks in play for both the Commanders and the Patriots with the picks number 2 and 3. I would have Drake Maye as the leading candidate for at least any of these guys. I think he's the best QB. But I think that the Commanders might actually turn their attention towards Jaden Daniels or J.J. McCarthy, potentially leading the Tar Heel from Chapel Hill to be that guy the Patriots and Eliot will select at pick number 3. But there is no debating that these 3 guys are the quarterbacks that Washington and New England are going to be choosing from. I personally believe that Jaden Daniels is a Commander. I was talking with our Commanders host here at Chat Sports, Jack Sperry. Shout out to him. And he said that he would prefer Drake Maye, but he's starting to believe more and more every single day as the days go on that Jaden Daniels is going to be the pick at number 2 for Washington, because Cliff Kingsbury, the new OC for the Commanders, likes that spread offense where you get a really mobile quarterback. And I'm not saying J.J. McCarthy or Drake Maye are not mobile, because they actually are very mobile. But Jaden Daniels brings that dual threat upside that no one else in this draft class really can. And if you look at Cliff Kingsbury's history at the collegiate level, at the NFL, what has his quarterbacks always been able to do? Be elite runners. When he was the head coach at Arizona, Kyler Murray. When he was the coach at Texas Tech, Patrick Mahomes. Quarterbacks coach at USC, Caleb Williams. He's always had a quarterback that is able to make people miss and be a factor in the running game. Jaden Daniels also possesses some of the elite abilities to hit a 25, 30-yard fade route on the outside. I think he's the best in the class at doing that, and that really fits the scheme that Cliff Kingsbury is trying to run in Washington. And to me, this is perfect for New England, because if Jaden Daniels goes number 2, and I like Jaden Daniels, don't get this twisted. I just prefer Drake Maye, and I think Maye is actually a better fit for the Patriots, because in that new Alex Van Pelt offense, after coming over from Cleveland for the past 4 years, they are much better suited to take a quarterback that has the quick intermediate routes, throws over the middle of the field, hits the RPOs, and is able to scramble as well. And I could only envision this Patriots running game taking another step with Antonio Gibson and Ramondre Stevenson, and then just having Drake Maye under center, play action, bootleg out to the right, and chuck it deep potentially, or hit those 25, 30-yard routes over the middle of the field I could not be happier that it seems like it's trending in this way. I'm not going to come up here and say it's a done deal, but it certainly feels like the Commanders are going to take Jaden Daniels. And if that's the case, like I said, it is perfect for the New England Patriots. But what say you? Will Jaden Daniels go to the Commanders with that number 2 overall pick? If you think that he will take Jaden Daniels, type your Ys. If you think they're going to pass and go J.J. McCarthy or snipe Drake Maye for New England, type your N. Going back to Drake Maye, though, because he had a great pro day, in my opinion. I watched every single throw that he had, and there was, admittedly, a couple throws that he missed. One slant over the middle, he threw a little bit behind Tez Walker, who we'll talk about in just a second. He missed 2 out routes as well. One where he was fading back to his his left, and then threw a 15, 20-yard out route to the right side of the field, to the sideline, and overthrew his wide receiver way into the stands. He also did that again to the left side of the field. So, yes, the accuracy concerns popped up a little bit when he was throwing deep out routes. But those were the only 2 throws that he really struggled, in my opinion. Slight misses here and there. But he also flashed the ability to make out-of-pocket and off-platform throws, which makes him such an intriguing prospect. I'm sure you might have seen the clip on Twitter, but him evading a guy who comes unpressured inside or unblocked, and then he escapes, and then back foot, just 1 foot, right foot, slings it 65 yards down the field, perfectly drops it in the bucket. I think Drake Maye did everything he needed to do to flash his arm strength, his ability to make one-legged throws off platform deep down the field. There was also one throw that really stood out to me where they had, once again, an unpressured guy. Drake Maye just 1, 2, 3 back, got on his back foot, and had to throw a one-legged fadeaway almost, like we're talking basketball, with a guy in his grill, and he just lofted it up there 45 yards down the field, dropping it in the bucket as well for a wide receiver. To me, his pro day flashed everything that New England would want to see in a quarterback to compete in a loaded AFC. And that is why, to me, if this is the case that it's heading towards, Drake Maye is the pick. There is no trading back. I do not care if the Vikings give you a Godfather offer of 11, 23, the 2025 first-round pick, and even if they offer their 2026 first-round pick, totaling 4 first-rounders to move up from 11 to 3. The Patriots need to find their franchise quarterback of the future. I believe that is Drake Maye. I believe it could be Jaden Daniels. But if Drake Maye's sitting there with that 3rd overall pick and he's on the board, New England better make the call into Roger Goodell and get Drake Maye to Foxborough. I will not have any of that. What you guys should get started with is Game Time. And this is a really fun sponsor of the show. And shout out to Game Time for sponsoring today's Patriots Today. Playoff basketball and hockey are right here, and you shouldn't have to miss any of the action because of ticket prices. With Game Time, you can get killer last-minute deals and all-in prices for the big events. To me, there is nothing more frustrating than spending time searching for tickets that are telling you prices that aren't actually the true price. When you click on those tickets, you think you're getting them for $70, $80, and all of a sudden you're in the checkout line and you're like, oh, why is it $140 now? Doubled in fees. Well, with Game Time, you can click all-in pricing so you won't get bamboozled or led astray by those prices. They will show you the exact amount it will actually be when you go to checkout. Another reason why I love Game Time is that they show you your exact vantage point. You will not be fooled when you buy your tickets, you head to your seat, and you're like, oh, shit, this is a terrible viewing experience. No, because you see the actual view you have on your screen when you're on Game Time. So download Game Time today and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. It's the best place to find last-minute seats. I can get tickets, and you can get tickets the day of events. They're still going to be available. That is why they are the best. So download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Shout out to them. That link will be in the description and comments of today's video. But let's get back to talking about the potential quarterback one for the New England Patriots in Drake Maye. And I know a lot of people, when you talk about him, have concerns with his accuracy. I do understand that, as you saw his completion percentage dip from 66 to 63% from 22 to 23. But you also have to take into consideration outside factors. One, Drake Maye lost his number one guy in Josh Downs, also lost a couple solid wide receivers on the outside, and the offensive line got a little bit worse. Drake Maye also had not that much to work with. Like, the best weapon on his team, Tez Walker, talk about him in a second. He's only going to be a third-round pick. It's not like he had some elite weapons that he was distributing the ball to, and he also had to deal with a lot of drops. I'm not kidding you. If you actually take away the box score and just look at the film and some of his games, and I know he had a couple of rough games against NC State, against Clemson, a couple of those solid defenses in the ACC, he had to deal with a lot of drops. Tez Walker had a lot of drops. Tight ends struggled as well. Like, he was dropping great throws into tight windows, and his wide receivers and tight ends were just simply not capable of making those plays. And the reason why I love Drake Maye is because he has a strong arm. He can make every throw on the football field. He attacks the middle of the field. When I talked about Jaden Daniels earlier being the best thrower 25, 30 yards down the field on the sidelines, well, Drake Maye is the best quarterback in this draft class at attacking over the middle of the field. His ability to layer the ball over linebackers in between safeties. And then if he needs to just throw a BB gun bullet, he absolutely can, threading the needle on a line 25, 30 yards over the middle of the field. And in the NFL, you win by attacking the middle of the field, especially on those money downs, third down, and big situations. Now, there are some cons. He's not a perfect prospect, as we detailed throughout the entire offseason. He does have accuracy concerns because of inconsistent footwork. He also likes to play hero ball at times, causing him to turn the ball over. But when you get him into a good system and you trust your coaching staff to develop this young man, who is the second youngest quarterback in this draft class, only behind J.J. McCarthy, he can absolutely make something special. And Drake Maye was asked about the New England Patriots after his throwing session by some reporters. And he had this to say, which just absolutely fired me up. Getting a chance to try to get to know them, get to know what they're all about, and their championship mindset of getting back to the glory days has been cool. Yeah, man, that quote sold me. If you had not seen the pitch I was making to you guys about why New England should take them, that quote should seal the deal for you, because it sealed the deal for me. Getting back to the glory days, championship mindset, I think Drake Maye understands the values that this organization is trying to push forward and the goals that they have upcoming in the next 5 to 10 years to try to get that seventh Super Bowl that has been so illustrious, to take them over the mountaintop as the only franchise in NFL history to have 7 Super Bowls, as they're currently tied number 1 with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I think Drake Maye understands the pressure of the situation. He's got the talent, and he has just been a winner at every single level. I'm telling you right now, without Drake Maye, if they had an average college football quarterback in Chapel Hill over the past 2 seasons, I mean, that team is going maybe 4-8. Drake Maye's having them go 7-4, 8-3, and competing for ACC championships. Are you with me? Do you want Drake Maye on the New England Patriots? If you do, go in the comments section and spam DM for me. I want Drake Maye. I'll be typing my DMs. Who's with me? Show it by commenting down below. Okay, before we head out of here, I do want to also talk about this because, well, the Patriots sent 9 people, part of their organization, to that North Carolina Pro Day on Thursday. And the only player that they talked to outside of Drake Maye was one of his throwing partners, Tez Walker. As Mike Kadlick here had the report, all 9 guys met with the Tar Heels wide receiver, and he's an intriguing prospect, man. 6'1", 193, ran a 4.36 40-yard dash, and he was that wide receiver 1 for Drake Maye in 2023. And he got off to a rocky start because the NCAA actually deemed him ineligible because of transfer rules and stuff like that. They ended up letting him play. He only played in 8 games this season, which is why his numbers aren't crazy, but he is a big play waiting to happen. And he was Drake Maye's favorite target when he was going deep down on the deep post or the deep sideline. Like 17 yards per catch absolutely fits the mold of Tez Walker. Had 7 touchdowns with multiple games, by the way. where he had multiple touchdowns in those games. I believe he had 3 against Georgia Tech this season. He also had a 2-touchdown game against the Miami Hurricanes. Tez Walker can absolutely make a big play. I do feel a little different on Tez, though. Listen, full transparency here, I've watched more North Carolina football than I'd like to admit. I mean, I kind of root for the Tar Heels, if I'm going to be honest, at the collegiate level. So I've already been a fan of Drake Maye, which is why I think he would be perfect in New England. But Tez Walker, I'm kind of the complete opposite. I like him, but I don't think he's that guy that New England should target at the wide receiver position in the NFL draft. The pros with Walker are very good. He's got great size at 6'1", 6'2". He's an absolute burner. Like, he can take the top off the defense. And if you guess at all with his route and he gives you a little stutter, step, and go, he can absolutely take you deep for a 50, 60-yard touchdown. He is also Drake Maye's guy. So if you take Maye with the 3rd overall pick, it would not surprise me if New England looks to target him as someone to also draft, bring in the 2 Tar Heels. They already have chemistry, and they can get to work and hit the ground running early in Foxborough. The cons, though, are 2 big cons, in my opinion. Although it said he only had 3 drops in 2023, he has unreliable hands. He showed that a little bit at the Pro Day. He dropped the pass. He also showed that at the Senior Bowl, dropping a couple passes as well. And he's not that crisp of a route runner either. He's great speed. He's got like some Mike Wallace in him a little bit where he can just straight up run by you. But if you're asking him to run a full route tree of outs, slants, ins, comebacks, there is a good chance he gets bagged up. And going back to that Senior Bowl in Mobile earlier this offseason in February, I mean, he did not have a good week. He went into that week as a potential first-round pick because of his speed and size, and he performed so poorly that he kind of fell into the 3rd round. So he did not have a good week. He was getting bagged up left and right by some of those corners, and that's why I'm kind of out on Walker. Like, I understand why New England would want to bring him in if they take Drake Maye, but I'm just out. Like, I'd consider him in the 3rd round. New England has that 68th pick. That's the earliest I would take Tez Walker. But I'm overall passing because, to me, the best way that New England go about the rest of this offseason is taking Drake Maye at pick number 3 and then trading 34 or maybe just a 3rd, and which is 68, and a 3rd next year to Cincinnati for T. Higgins. And then you could draft a offensive tackle with pick 34 in the 2nd round. But if you don't do that, then I think you should use 34 on a wide receiver in the 2nd round, whether it be a Ladd McConkey or trade up for an A.D. Mitchell in the late 1st. Xavier Legette. Like, some of these guys I think are way better than Tez Walker, where they can provide you with the deep ability to take the top off of a defense, but they also give you more consistency over the middle of the field with their route running in their hands. I love Tez. I just don't really think he's a great fit for the New England Patriots. But if they are looking for a true X wide receiver to really just threaten opposing defenses deep on the perimeter, maybe Tez Walker is someone you take a look at with pick 68. That'll do it for today's video. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel, whether it be myself or Harrison Graham. We will have you covered on the latest surrounding the New England Patriots. We're less than a month away from that big day on Thursday, April 25th, when the New England Patriots may turn in the card for their next franchise quarterback. So if you want to stay up to date on the latest surrounding New England, hit that sub button.